Bookstagram is gorgeous to look at. Like you look at people's grids and like you just want to screenshot them because they're just gorgeous. People are like, this is my life. It's like lifestyles, but with books.
Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. All right, Be It Babe. We have one of those blasts from the past. One of my besties, Clare as our guest today. And I wanted to have this conversation because I like the turns it takes. I also just love having on people to kind of give you a glimpse of where their life is at today and also like hear how they got to where they are. That's our big thing at Be It Till You See It. It's like, how did someone get there? What happened there? Is it always sunshine and roses and butterflies? And it is and it's not, right? Things can be two things at once. And so Clare is on today to talk about like what she's doing now, what she's excited about now, and how that's changed her life. And we also go into some manifestation stuff, which I think is always a good reminder of how to like add that back into your life. Because sometimes it's really easy to just get off the manifestation wagon and wonder why you don't have what you have. And every time I talk about manifestation with Clare, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go sit down and like dream that up, because every time I get specific, it all fucking happens. So anyways, without further ado, here is Clare Solly. All right, Be It Babe. I have one of your favorite guests, and you actually heard her many times on the pod coming back. We love to have people come back on. It's been a couple of years since her actual interview, and even over a year since she helped me out and did Brad's job for a while, maybe even 2 years. My goodness. Clare Solly is here, one of my best friends, my slingshot friend. I wanted to have her back on because you know what? So much changes in such a short period of time, but also a long period of time. And I think it's really easy for us to hear people on a podcast, be inspired and think they have it all together and their life is set. Everything is perfect. Everything is done. It's just going to keep going in that way. And Clare and even like myself are like really great examples of like, sometimes it changes and it changes for the better. So Clare, tell everyone, just in case they don't know who you are, they didn't listen to your first episode. Who are you? What do you rock at?
Hi, Lesley. I'm so glad to be back. I am overall, I'm a storyteller. I think that's like if I had to name my world in one or my life in one, I'm a storyteller. I have lived many different lives. I am an actress, singer, novelist. I'm a producer of plays. By day, I'm an executive assistant. And most recently, I'm a Bookstagram.
I know. Okay. So I didn't even know that Bookstagram was a thing, but I just interviewed someone. His episode's probably come out, Nick Hutchison's, and he was a Bookstagrammer as well. And like, and I was like, hold on, you're the second Bookstagrammer I know. Like this is the whole thing I didn't even know existed. So how long have you been a Bookstagrammer and how did that even get started?
Oh, it's a journey. Like it's a short journey, but actually I have to post my post right now. So I was waiting to do that so we can get it. So if you want to see me actually post, physically post, I was sitting waiting for the interview to start so I could do that, or so I could post, maximize my time. I've been an Instagrammer for about a Bookstagrammer. I've been on Instagram forever. I've been a Bookstagrammer for about 6 months. I kind of fell into it, to be honest with you. So Bookstagram, for those of you who don't know, or Book Talk, is a corner of Bookstagram or TikTok. It's not a separate platform, and it's not
Book Talk is like, it's like a corner of like TikTok, and then Bookstagram is a corner of Instagram. Got it. Okay.
Yes, exactly. If you look up either of those hashtags, if you go on that platform, if you look up the hashtag Bookstagram, you'll find it. Same with hashtag Book Talk if you're on TikTok. And it's pretty easy to find. I joined because, as you know, I'm a 3-time published novelist, and I just published a novel in September, actually, which, you know, I joined in September. I already had established an Instagram for like the world of books, and we'll get to that in a second. And I just hopped on and I was like, oh, this is easy. I'll just go promote my books to like people who like books because I knew the hashtag Bookstagram existed because I'd sort of pedestrianly followed a few people over on my personal account. And I laugh because there's this woman who I follow and she has like rooms full of like smedges, which we can talk about that in a
Yeah,
second
I'm gonna
too.
need to show that word.
Um, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to fill my house with gorgeous books. But anyway, I was on and I was like, let me just simply promote Save the Last Piece. I just published it. It'll be a kind of a cheap way to help get my book out in the world. And then I, like Alice in Wonderland, fell down the rabbit hole. I started out, I think, with like 500 or 600 followers that were kind of left over from when I decided in the pandemic that I was going to be a book coach and a money coach. And then, so go back and listen to one of Lesley's first episodes. I'm sure you'll tag
Yeah,
it.
you were a great money coach for us.
And I fell down. I took that account and I just started following people that I liked and in somehow promoting my own book, I was like trading with other authors to promote their books and then found companies that do this kind of thing. And somehow ended up with, I don't know where I'll be at when this podcast actually comes out, but like right now, as we're recording this, I'm about to crest 11,000 followers on Instagram.
In six months. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is insane because you're not the social media coach. You are a Bookstagrammer and less than 2% of accounts are growing on Instagram. The last time I checked out what that stat was. And you clearly are in the 1%, but also like, cause you niched, you like found a corner and you're focusing on one thing. And also it's something you freaking you love to read. Like you always have loved to read.
I love to read. I just got back from vacation where we were on the beach for 6 days, or technically it was 7. And I read 7 whole books while I was, yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, novelettes, like little, like shorter than like 100 pages or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't reading
that
like Game of Thrones or anything like
right,
that.
right. But also like, that's like 3 books in one anyway. So people should get credit for that. Okay. So, what does a Bookstagrammer do now? And then how does that change like what you do? Cause obviously you can't be I guess you could, but you're not a book coach and a money coach and a Bookstagrammer. Like you kind of like gone all in. So like let's talk about that.
So a Bookstagrammer, I mean, I'm basically like a hype girl for books is what it is. There are lots of different ways that people do it, but like because I read so much and because I'm doing 2 things. I'm reading a bunch of books that I like, and I'm also establishing an author community for myself. So again, these are 2 very, very niche things, but I think people, you can take my niche and like run with it if you want.
I think so.
So being a Bookstagrammer, I look at books that I like or I read books that I like, and then I create art around that book. Bookstagram is gorgeous to look at. Like you look at people's grids and like you just want to screenshot them because they're just gorgeous. People are like, this is my life. It's like lifestyles, but with books. So this is my gorgeous lifestyle photo with, a cup of tea and my book in the middle of it and some beads and, I don't know, chocolate. Like
I'm picturing like either like a theme of gorgeous coffee shops and like a beautiful book, or like gorgeous beaches and books and like...
Yeah. Yeah, well, and everybody's got sort of their theme. Like there are people out there that like do colors. I have like one, we call like each other books to besties. I have a books to bestie who like her theme is always butterflies and bright flowers, and it's just like her grid's gorgeous. So you're basically, as a Bookstagrammer, you're promoting the titles of the books, you're promoting authors, you're promoting other authors, you're promoting yourself. And there's all kinds of things on there, like people will do things like, here's a book stack with my name spelled out in the first letter of every book. So you'll have like Clare would be like a book that starts with C, like, I don't know, Catcher in the Rye, and L, Light in the Forest, so like you have this stack of books in a hand. So, people are doing all kinds of different things, and it's great because it's like, we're all nerding out and loving like over books. And then there's also competitive posts of like, I read 27 books in March or I have this many books on my TBR. That's my to be read list. For those of you that are not Bookstagrammers.
Okay. I love this. And like for just a second, I thought, oh my God, what like the sweetest, most special part of Instagram? And then, oh, here comes the competitive post. Like it has to get there. There's no play. There's no corner of social media that doesn't have its competitiveness.
Oh, 100%. Because again, you're still behind, you're in a box and you can do whatever you want and you can be whatever personality you want. I think honestly though, on like the nice side of that, I have so many people like that AI trend that happened. What was it in like November, December that everybody was making AI pictures of themselves, the Disney, Pixar, or whatever.
I definitely didn't because I thought that someone was just trying to get my data. And I was like, I don't participate in those things.
Most likely, probably. But everybody like, decided to do that with the Bookstagram and like pretty up their page. But it's funny because people like their real photos are coming back and people are like, some people are gorgeous, like models. And some people are just like, hey, I'm a normal reader. My face is not part of my image.
See, I think for anyone listening to this who's like, I wonder what to do. Like a Bookstagrammer sounds like I don't ever have to take a shower. I could just read a book. Like, I'm just like, I never have to match. I have to clean up the background. I just have to have a little set for my books. So I'm loving this. I think it's okay. So I just want to say, like, you set out to do this because you were like promoting your own book. And then also like nowadays, you guys, here's the sad truth about being an author. It doesn't matter how good a writer you are. You now have to have a following. And how many of those followers will buy your stuff? Because publishers they'll never take risks anymore. So was it like something you stumbled upon that you were like that you got, like, feels like new and shocking. Like, did you think that you were gonna have 11,000 followers? You have to promote a new book a day?
Yeah, I mean, yes-ish. I stumbled onto it and then like I kind of raced towards it, to be honest, and transparent about it. And I'm like, I feel like it's working well, but it like my KDP Amazon numbers are not necessarily agreeing with me. And also like my Amazon bill from how many books I'm buying versus how many books I'm selling.
Oh,
it's definitely not equal.
Okay. Yeah. Noted.
I'm not getting paid as a Bookstagrammer. I'm getting paid in books. And I feel like I'm like 11 years old again. And it's like, hey, do this job.
Do you remember those like books you would get? It's like, okay, if you send in a self-addressed stamped envelope with 5 stamps, we're going to send you these stickers. Like,
yeah,
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So I went down a chat with somebody and was talking about were you around for Book It with Pizza Hut? Was that I don't know if that was out in California, but it was like, if you read so many books, you could earn yourself a pizza at Pizza.
Oh, that's cool. We did not have that, but my mom read me 500 books. And so I became like a ferocious reader. And it was like it was a competition in my junior high. Like, what reading level are you? And I was so embarrassed because my friends were like senior reading level in 8th grade. And I was like junior reading level in 8th grade. And I was like, there's something wrong with me. I'm not a senior. And I quickly have come to know it's fine. Everything is fine. And I get to do this.
And there's so many books out there, we'll never read them all. And like, that's something we have to be okay with. And there are classics you'll never read. And there are books that are in my physical house that I will never read.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to talk about Kindle.
Yeah. You know what? There's Audibles that I will never read. I'm using all my credits and like canceling it because I'm forcing myself to get Libby. I'm just like, I'm doing it. I'm supporting the libraries. I'm getting Libby. I wanted to have you on to share this because I do think that people go, I've said I was going to do this thing. I have to do this thing. And they don't let their life evolve. And so I guess I want to know, and maybe you haven't processed it yet verbally, but like, I guess I want to hear like, what was it like to like kind of, this is a lot of time. Like, it's actually a lot of time to do this. And so to let go of like, you built website. I mean, you were doing the book coaching and money coaching. It wasn't like you weren't doing those things so to let those things go, to like go and do this, like, what was that process like? What were you thinking? Like, was there any like wonder or shame? Like, was there anything like that going on in your head, or was it just kind of easy to let it go?
think it's funny that you say wonder and shame, because those words kind of crossed my mind as you were asking the question. There was a little bit of both. I mean, I think I probably hit the crest of the wave, or I was on the back of the crest of the wave of everybody starting their own business and in the pandemic and trying to get online. And I've never been a great salesperson. Especially for myself, it's so hard to
You're
sell
an
myself.
amazing salesperson because we were in retail together, but I think where you clarified it for yourself might be, that's hard for a lot of people.
Well, and then, I mean, it's hard because like I said at the top of this podcast, I'm a storyteller first. That's the gift I give myself in this world. And I give support and like I'm a muse to other people. And that's like, I feel like that's my karmic energy in this life. And so it's hard to be like, yes, you want to write your book, pay me $500 and I will help push you and cheerlead you to get through writing your own book, when you're the one doing a lot of the work. I'm just here to be that person for you. Yes, I should monetize myself because it is my time. And as many people who have come on this podcast before me have said, and you've reiterated a number of times, your time is valuable and you should charge people for it, especially if it's a commodity that you do or that it's that you're good at and people want it. But I was not being fulfilled by it. I was having a lot of people who were sort of interested in it. And then they decided, a lot of folks were like, well, I want to put it into practice, or I want to, with the book stuff, they wanted marketing, and with the money stuff, they were like, it's a little bit too intangible. And like, what are your results? And it's like, well, you you kind of have to live it and believe in it to get there. And like, if you're not believing it right now, then I can't make you believe it. It's not like, you are saved.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's also really hard for some of those things. Like, we are working on trying to get tangible results of like money earned from the people that we coach. But also, like, I'm not that kind of person. It's like, we've helped so-and-so make $1 million. We've helped this person, because the truth is like, some of those numbers might actually intimidate you to the point that you don't want to work with us. And also, like, some of those numbers might be more than you've ever like that you want to make. And so like, I know we've helped make many, many people millions of dollars, but is that what you need to hear? Or do you need to hear that like, we can help you with like what your particular goals are and here's how? And I think I'm with you. Like, a lot of people, especially with money, it's like, there's a lot on there. Like, it's not always just like, here's who to invest in. It's also like habits around like worthiness and belief and money story and all that stuff. So it's complicated.
Yeah. Yeah. And like what I was putting out into the world had, a dose or 6 of woo woo. So like, there's a specific niche for that. So, and I wasn't finding those people. I wasn't attracting those people. Those people weren't finding me. Mm-hmm. So, and I also got really lucky and transitioned. I was in a job that I transitioned within the company, and that actually had a headhunter come out and talk to me, and I moved to a different company that I'm head over heels in love with, and I really, really love my job. And we came out of the pandemic, and I was working more in person, and I'm lucky I get to work a couple days at home, but the amount of time that I had to focus on my own business was not there. And I also found I would rather spend time working on my theater projects and working on writing new novels and spending time with friends and just sitting on my couch, watching a movie and chilling out. And I just I didn't have enough people that were interested. And I also didn't have the interest enough to go to keep pursuing it.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah. I think that like, it's also, I love that it's also okay for it to be fine. And I also like, I think it's okay for something that you tried and you did, if it's not fulfilling. You know what I mean? Like, you can, I think it's like the idea you're just going to keep hammering at it because you know what I mean? I think a lot of us are like, oh, I said I was going to do this. I said I'm doing this. I'm going to just keep going. And that doesn't make it fun either. And so it kind of let you evolve into doing something that actually gives you purpose and is fun for you. It feels like it's fun for you.
Well, and I did, I mean, it probably should be said, this is something I didn't give up lightly. It's not like I just turned a corner and was like, well, whoops, that didn't work. I mean, I spent thousands of dollars on educating myself and working with my own business coaches. And I mean, it wasn't anything that like massively put me in debt or anything like that. I, put it all on credit cards and paid it back within 6, 8 months. And, luckily I had a day job that I could do that with. But again, it was not fulfilling enough to me to keep trying at juicing it for money. So
Yeah.
I let it go.
Thank you for, I think it's really good to share that. Also, it doesn't mean that was for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I think like you learned so much from it around the organization of your own thoughts and like what you do. And I think we, think it's easy for us to like go like a sunk cost fallacy. Like human beings are so conditioned to like hold on to something to like save what they have versus they'll spend more trying to save what they have and make something happen than they will to just get out. And it doesn't mean it's easy to get out, but also like there are so many people who would just like keep hiring more coaches and keep trying to make it happen and buy ads and all these things. And so for you to give yourself permission to just kind of explore something else with your time is really, do you give yourself a pep talk? Like, do you journal about that? How did you come up with the idea of like giving yourself more time to explore reading and like sharing your novels?
I think it's sort of like Marie Kondo-esque kind of thing. Like I just was looking at it at the work I was putting in and seeing what I was getting out of it and seeing whether or not the joy was worth the time, whatever that mathematical equation might be. And it is interesting because I don't know that I've ever actually really sat down and processed it. I think I just was like, well, my life is changing. This isn't working. I don't need to be spending more time on it. I think the pandemic was a gift for me because I was that person that was running, running, running. I was living an 80-hour work week between all the things that I do. But I could do that because I'm a single woman living in New York City. I had enough of an income that I could support myself in a healthy way. Pandemic made me stop and go, wait a minute, you have to sit in your house for months and figure out what is really important for you time-wise. And I found like I had lots of leeches and vampires that were sucking my energy away and were not fulfilling me back. So I think it's more of a conversation or a more of and yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I journaled. I could knowing me, I did. But I took a look at my life and what was making me smile and what was making me happy. And I hated when I would set up a workshop that would be like, try to get some people that were interested in buying, have the free learn how to write your novel in 3 months to try, or learn how to make money. Here's 5 tips on how to make money in your world for free. And
I just want not to interrupt you, but like, I hate doing that launch stuff. It's like not fun. We were doing launch models for years. And for some pre-pandemic, the launch model worked with us in one capacity. It was actually really great. But then during the pandemic, because then everybody and their mother was launching something, like literally their mother and everybody were launching something. Then you had to start doing those, like, here's 5 ways to make this much. And like people want that quick fix. And so that's what you're having to like sell. And we don't do that anymore. And it does make it really difficult to grow our business because I don't do before, and I've never done before and after pictures for OPC, but like the only business where we have a launch models in our business coaching. And it seems to work there. And it's not that it feels inauthentic because I only do things that feel really good, but it is really hard to get people to do something that's going to benefit their lives during the window of time you have set aside to support them. That's what those things are.
And it has to be, I mean, and I got pulled and I don't want to say suckered because like it turns out like a couple of them were really great coaches, but like I got pulled into those calls on my own and I was like, oh my gosh, this rainbow and this pot of gold sound amazing. Sign me up. And yeah, I mean, and it works for some people and you have to have a good script and a good energy and a decent product. And like, but it just not, and it's so funny because you just said that I'm a good salesperson. I'm a great actor. And for some reason, like I was not able to get any, and it was disheartening because I was having like 100 people sign up for the call and 5 show up. And
Yes.
it was the numbers were just gutting me. And I think after I did, I don't know, I want to say it wasn't a ton. I did like 20 of those, like workshop things between the book coaching and the money coaching. And I
That's a
just was,
lot. That's a hard like thing to not take personally. It's not personal, but it feels personal because like I'm doing this. I set this aside. I can help you, and you won't show up. You won't let me help you. And like, yeah,
it's also a lot of time. Like it was in 90 minutes each time and 10 to 20 times, 20 times,
yeah.
however. Yeah. I stopped thinking about how many it was because it makes my stomach hurt to think how much time I gave up. I'm like, I could have been writing, or I could have been like helping a charity, or I don't know. I could have watched how many movies?
You know,
20 movies.
but I love that we're talking about this because I think a lot of people see the not even Bookstagrammers, these other Instagrammers out there like launching things, or they'll sell like say I made this much money in a weekend and da da da. First of all, you don't know how much money they spent on ads to make that much money. So I'm just gonna tell you right now, like they could say they had a 6-figure, launch and they spent like they made $100,000, but they spent 90,000 to get there. Like you don't know. And so it's really, really important. Like, yeah, they can say they had a 6-figure launch, but it cost them a lot to get there. And so I also like there are a lot of coaches out there who will sell you these things. Like there's a lot of business coaches out there in my industry who are like, I help people make $10,000 a month. I'm like, that's great. And also some people need more than that. And also for some people, that's a lot. And they live in Oklahoma and what you want them to charge to get there is not possible. And I'm not to like slide on Oklahoma. It could be anywhere. But like the truth is like, there's emotional triggers that will work on people to make them buy things. And you need to know if you already wanted it in the first place. And does this person understand you? And they should have testimonials. They also should have people that like literally did it, that you have their faces and you can talk to them and who aren't being paid to talk to you. So like I just say all these things because we've had people in our groups who've like had other coaches for other like offset things, sell them things. And it's like snake oil. And they feel bad when they fall for it. And it's like, you didn't actually fall for anything. It was designed for you to make that one decision.
Yeah. And sometimes, yeah. And it just felt bad that being the snake oil salesman, not that necessarily like, I feel
you
like
weren't. You were going to help them, but you felt like you had to do those things is what you're saying. Cause you were not.
Yeah. And again, I was fortunate in the fact that it was kind of like my next seat on the Ferris wheel was open and I could just hop on that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and I realize not everybody's that lucky, but I think I was also sort of in a way, I know I was manifesting like change.
Yeah, okay, I want to talk about this because even though you don't coach on this, like I got to be part of like the time when you were manifesting this change to happen.
Yeah.
And like, I think a lot of people will, because of making decisions around things and spending money and time to make something happen, a project happen, an idea happen, a goal happen. Even though these things were happening, I saw you like manifest change in another way without like kind of, not that you weren't, sulking or worrying about this, but you did do that. How?
Oh, I was.
You were. We can, by the way, we can hold many, many emotions at once, guys. But when you were here recently, we talked about you can't manifest money, but you can manifest change. And like what are those practices?
I mean, it's sort of simplistic. But you like, instead of saying, it's so funny because people are like, I want to win $1 million, but you like, it won't happen for you because you need to, going back to all the money stuff, money is energy. Breath is energy. A Snickers bar is energy. Not a sponsor. So you take and you release energy. A hug is energy, right? So you take and you release energy. That's what we do as beings. Dogs do it, grass does it, etc. Your cable TV does it. So you need to manifest something well. And again, this is not like a magic wand and it's not going to happen to you overnight, but you need to get really clear on what you want, what your result is.
Mhm.
And you need to be able to visualize it. And you and I were talking at the time, and you were helping me visualize where I was going and what direction I wanted to go in. And I did a lot of work on that on my own too, journaling and meditating and whatever. And you don't have to journal, you don't have to meditate. You can do it in whatever way that puts it out into the world. So if this is all a little too woo for you, hi Brad. Um,
He loves this stuff. Actually, you guys, like we light money candles all the time, but we're intentional what that impact is. Impact
Right.
represents.
Well, and you have to, and it's funny because I have a lot of those candles too. And I have regular candles that I'm still very intentional with when I start the energy for those.
Yeah.
So you have to think about what you want. So I don't know why a boat is coming to my head right now, but if you're like, I would love to have $1 million. Well, that's too short-sighted. Well, I want to have $1 million to have a boat. Well, why do you want that boat? You want to have it so you can cruise around the world? Do you want to have it so you can put it in your backyard and have something to brag about? Do you want to have it so you can have freedom? Do you and because you can go out and you can like have or do you want it so you can have quiet time so you can go fish off your boat? So
Mhm.
you have to get really clear on the ABC through XYZ of what you want the money, the energy, whatever to do for you. And for me with the job, I got really clear on I still want to serve people. I want a boss or a situation where I am treated with respect and also like delicacy when I need it, but also space to make my own way in the job, but also forgiveness when I mess up because I'm human. And I got really clear on a lot of those things. And I swear to you, my boss, I might have just drawn a picture of her because she is everything. It's funny because I swore up and down I was never going to work for a woman again. And when I started having conversations with her, it was just like synergy and wonderful. And it's not a perfect world. I'm not a perfect employee. It's not a perfect situation every single day. It allowed me to have, and I also thought about things like what kind of salary do I want and what kind of availability do I want to be able to like what days of the, not specific days of the week. I didn't get down to that, but what's my work-life balance going to look like and things like that. And it's not quite what I envisioned, but I get to do like it seems like everything I asked for is sort of in this space what I asked for. So
Yeah.
you get as clear as you can on what you want, like distill things down until you can't get them to go any further, and that's how you manifest. And then you just start thinking about it every moment you get a chance to. Like I have sticky notes all over my house. I'll find them every once in a while um that will say things that have specific like manifestations on them.
Oh, I love
And
that. I think so. First of all, I love Post-its, and I love. We actually just moved a mirror in our house, and now we just like put notes on it because, like, with mirror markers and like it's because it's kind of fun and it catches you because it's not where you would normally see words. But I love that you share like you got as specific as you can because it's really true. Like there is this. You guys, I forget her name. It's in my Audible. I'm sure my team's gonna want to know what it is, but there's a book where this woman talks about the story about the more specific you are, the more things happen. And like, she talks about like someone lost a pen and it was this like specific type of pen that was so expensive. And like, she like was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's lost because I love this pen. It will come back to me. And sure enough, she walked into a store and there was the exact model and make of this pen. And like, this is like the book was like around the 1920s, guys. So like pens were really expensive back then. I don't know. Anyways, it was her pen. And it was like not as expensive as when she like what she thought replacement would be. But there's another story of this woman who wanted to go on a trip and she knew exactly the trip she wanted to go on. She knew exactly how much it would cost and she had no money. And she called her mom thinking like maybe her mom would loan her the money. And her mom was like, that trip sounds amazing. You should totally go on it. And like that didn't go anywhere. Her mom was like, hey, I think you should go on it. And she didn't have the money. And her mom was like, why don't you come over here and go like, you've got some boxes here you need to pick up and I've got some mail for you. So she goes to her mom's house and she's like, oh, I just want to go on this trip with my friends. I really need to go on this. and she goes to the mail and there was a letter from her old roommates, and she opens up the letter and it was a check for her deposit on an apartment that they had years ago. And she's like, I finally moved out and this money is yours. And it was the exact amount of money she needed for the trip. She was so specific about what she needed. So like, that's the thing. Like it really does work. And the house I'm sitting in, it's 5 bedrooms for a reason. It's exactly in the neighborhood I wanted. When people go, I can't believe you live in Vegas. Do you love it? I'm like, I love it because it's exactly what we manifested. I didn't manifest the money for the house, so yeah.
That's okay. You can make the money. That's
well, no. I mean, we got
money.
it. We got the money to buy the house. We bought it, guys. It's ours. But like, the point is I didn't manifest. I need, $485,000 or whatever it was. Like I manifested like what it would look like and where it was. And we pictured it. Brad and I knew exactly what it was going to look like. And it looks like that. And that's just really fun. So I really love that. Okay. Claire, what are you super excited about right now? Like, what is your like excitement, joy?
I'm super excited. I got sort of inspired in January to write a new novel. So I have yet another work in progress. I've got about like 5 books in progress right now. And I'm really excited about that. I am giving myself the goal to get the thing written because I already have 20,000 words. So the thing is like 1/4 of the way written because it's a rom-com. And I just am excited. Like I need to sit down. I'm excited for time with myself because the ideas are there. I just need to sit down and write it. What else am I excited for? I'm excited for travel. I've got a couple of, I'm planning a vacation. I'm so excited. I'm going to go to Greece.
You just came back from a vacation. I love you. I love that. People, if you hear this, you should take more vacations. You can actually plan one right after another one.
Vacation is so good for you because, and especially getting out of my house is good because it allows my brain to stop and pause, or it gives it kind of a different like jump start or like a I don't know, like a chiropractic crack. And then I come back and I'm so like, I've stopped looking at my same 6 walls and I'm like, wait a minute, I can do all these different things. And so I'm excited when I get to vacate and then come back and get like a jump start. Yeah, it's so funny. I'm like, what am I excited about? I don't know. I've got
so many things, but I do know it's like, you're not asked that question all the time, but I really love to ask that question of people because like, it's like, oh, there's this thing I actually have been working on and you might not have told people yet, but anyways, you're going to Greece. I love that. I've never been. I hear it's amazing.
Yeah. I'm going to go to London for a couple of days on the way there and then go to Greece. And hopefully I'm going to manifest this. Hopefully I will be taking my completed manuscript with me so I can edit it while I'm flying on all the planes.
Beautiful. Okay. We're going to take a brief break and find out where people can find you, follow you, get book recommendations from you. All right, Miss Claire, what is your Bookstagram handle? Where can people buy your books?
You can buy books on Amazon. Save the Last Piece, my most recent one, is also on Barnes & Noble. You can just look up Clare Solly. My Instagram handle is You Won't Be Solly, YOUWONTBESOLLY.
And also, are your books rom-coms always or like mystery novels? What are your books?
My first novel that I wrote is a time travel mystery novel called The Time Turner. My second novel that I published is called Christmas and Cleats, and it's a cozy Christmas Connecticut story where it's very, very Lifetime Hallmarky. A woman runs a museum and her best friend / crush from high school comes back to town after being a famous baseball player, and they reconnect and madness ensues. And then my most recent novel I wrote is called Save the Last Piece. And it is sort of a Devil Wears Prada of the wedding industry. I worked in the events world for almost 3 years and had so many stories to tell, or so many stories that I heard I didn't really tell. I mean, yes. So it's all fiction, although, it's stretched and different things happened, and it's a crazy romp through the world of events.
Oh my goodness. I love it so much. So Claire, you've been on the show before, so you've already given us some amazing advice on that's bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps. So you can repeat what you gave us if you remember it, or you can give us something new. And also, I saw you just face, you can give us something new. It's totally fine. We just need something to take action on that for the too long didn't listen all the way, or for the person who's like, okay, hold on, I love this. What should I do next?
Okay, so I have to tell you, because I've been working on this for like 3 weeks since you reached out to me and asked me to do this. And because I'm a recovering people pleaser and I'm always an A student, I don't want to let down my bestie. And I also kind of want to wow Brad because like I'm always excited to hear on the replays when Brad is wowed. So I'm trying to hit all four.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, you'll be one of very few people who've done all four. So here we go.
So here we go. I would say like if you're trying to like live your best life, or if you want to get your Instagram, whatever going, look at what you're obsessed with, what things are reaching out to you, what you're loving looking at, what you're liking, or what is calling you in your life to spend your free time on that. Also use your comparisons and judgments of these things of like people's posts or of other people's lives or whatever. And instead of going, oh gosh, they are so much better than me, turn it around the other way and use it to build your self-confidence and let it point you in the direction. Why do you think that they're better than you? Or what could you do? What is your magical snowflakeness that's taking you in that direction? And make sure it fulfills you in some way. And just, you know what, manifest the shit out of it.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. I think it's great. I think that's I love that because you know what? Most people would just stop at the comparison part. So you gave us a bold, executable, intrinsic, targeted step all in one step. That's so cool.
It's so funny because I kept working on it. And then I was doing something like I was folding laundry and I would like run to my phone. I was like, new note.
Okay. So this is so funny because it's kind of like your expert bio, Brad. I have to write a bio all the time, guys. I'm sure, Claire, you do too. Like you have to like have a bio all the time. And like,
you remember when we wrote them for each other?
Oh, I do. Because nothing will bring me to tears sooner than like someone making me make my bio fit into a certain character we haven't done. So Brad has taken this over and he took it over. And so it's like that beit thing is like having to go, oh, hold on. World renowned. That's a better word for that. Like you're running to the note to like, that's a better word for saying this thing. And then he did it in like 2 paragraphs, under 600 words, under 200 characters. So I think I've got all the bios I could need for at least this month.
This month is covered.
Yeah. Claire, I love you. It's so fun to follow along on your journey. You guys, go listen to the first episode if you haven't. You can also see when she did some of the recaps because Brad was out of country and 15 hours ahead and that was not going to work out for us. And so
a trip.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But you always have the great insight. And what I love is like, you really do follow your passions and you're really curious about things and it's you get excited about things and your books are just different facets of your unique creativity. And I can't wait for this next one to come out. And also, if you're wondering what to read, her Bookstagram could be a great place. So you guys, make sure you tag You Won't Be Solly, tag the Be It Pod. Let us know how you're going to use these tips in your life. And until next time, be it till you see it.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day.
Be It Till You See It is a production of the Bloom Podcast Network. If you want to leave us a message or a question that we might read on another episode, you can text us at +1 310 905 5534 or send a DM on Instagram at BeItPod.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
It is transcribed, produced, and edited by the epic team at Diseño.co.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all of our content to our website. And finally, to Meredith Root for keeping us all on point and on time.